So we are back with another juicy Fallout 4 kind of lore based video, not mods, but just things in the vanilla game. So what I'm going to be showing you today is 3 secret or hidden enemies. More or less what these are 3 enemies that you could find throughout Fallout 4 or the Commonwealth that aren't super notable at first glance. You may have actually encountered these enemies and not even realize that they kind of have an interesting backstory behind them. I'm kind of experimenting with these lore kind of series, so let me know in the comments down below. Do you guys want to see more content like this in the future? Do you want to see like a follow-up for secret enemies? I'm just trying to start this video relatively small because everyone might hate it like some of my older videos. So starting things off, we have Deadeye. This is going to be a super mutant in Fraternal Post 115. As you do enter the building, you're going to notice a severe lack of enemies. When you get into the kind of greater hall there, you're going to notice it's just Deadeye standing there. The notable thing about him is he's a blind super mutant leader. If you look at his face, he does have wraps around his eyes so he cannot see, but his hearing is actually enhanced. He'll notice you enter the room and you'll kind of become detected, although he won't immediately attack you. As you do kind of wander around, he'll say different things like "go away rat" or "not yours thief," and it seems like he might actually believe you are a rat or a small rodent and not actually a human that is there to potentially kill him. On all of the different routes to actually get to him, there are a few different mines. There's no real way to get to him without setting off one of these mines, and this is probably so he knows if there's enemies entering the room because he of course can't see you. If he does detect you and you don't kill him in time, he'll actually spawn in a bunch of new super mutants. Basically, if he flicks that switch, super mutants that would otherwise not be there will rush to his aid. All around a fairly simple one, but kind of cool. I like the extra layer of depth added to this guy, and he actually has some enhanced capabilities. He definitely detects you way earlier, but doesn't actually become hostile to you because, again, he doesn't really know if you are a true enemy or just something that's more of a nuisance. So we do have Wayne GORSKI of GORSKI's cabin. I imagine a lot of people miss this one. Basically, as you approach GORSKI's cabin, it just kind of looks like another shack that you do find as you explore the Commonwealth. Well, if you explore a little bit deeper, you actually find there is a hidden latch at the bottom. You can go into his cellar. Once down there in the main room, you'll find a variety of different supplies. It definitely seems like someone was trying to live down here. As you progress further, you'll find some radiation and Wayne GORSKI himself, who has now become a ghoul. The actual enemy of this one isn't all that notable. Wayne GORSKI isn't really any different than any of the other ghouls, but he does have a pretty interesting backstory behind him. On his terminal, you could discover that after the federal government installed a kind of electrical pylon tower around him, he got really suspicious as to what was going on here. He accused the federal government of building a mind-controlled device in order to try and manipulate the free-thinking people of the United States. So Wayne GORSKI took it upon himself and he decided, you know what, I have to take this down, and he started building a bomb to actually explode this potential mind-controlled device. Who knows if it actually was or not. In his room, you could find a lot of the different parts and materials you would use for this, as well as a broken down mini nuke, as well as some barrels of nuclear waste. So it seems like he wanted to create a miniature nuclear bomb to take down this tower, and who knows how many people it would have killed in the process. But then the Great War started and he was turned into a ghoul as a result. Or was he? Maybe it was due to some of the other things he was surrounding himself with. Regardless, if you didn't make the connection already, this is an obvious reference to Ted Kaczynski, otherwise known as the Unabomber, who lived in a very remote area in a cabin and then create bombs and send them to people. An interesting person to base someone off of, but he did make it into the game regardless. And then last but certainly not least, we have REGI BLATTARIA. This guy's going to be west of the Corvega assembly plant in kind of a burned out or bombed out building. He looks a little bit different than some of the other raiders, a little bit more heavy set, as well as his hair coloring is a little bit more odd. But at the end of the day, he is just a raider or gunner, so he's probably kind of weird and into some interesting things nonetheless. Well, the thing this guy's into is taming roaches. This raider actually has an army of roaches at his disposal that he has somehow become the king or leader of. After taking him on, you'll have a bunch of roaches flying at you that you will also have to take down, and then he himself will have something very powerful like a minigun or Gatling laser. You have to actually be a certain level for him to even appear there, otherwise it'll just be roaches. He's in fact a massive reference to the Roach King that did appear in Fallout 3, who had a similar skill set and also was able to tame roaches and use a minigun. Around the area that you do find REGI, you could find some miscellaneous things like a hat that the Roach King would have been wearing, as well as a toy rocket that mimics the Roach King's throne. Even beyond all this, his editor code in the game is POI Roach King. So that's pretty much it. These are 3 secret enemies, basically enemies with a little extra added layer of depth that you may have overlooked on your initial playthrough or even when you encountered them. Hopefully you guys found this video informative. Again, I'd love to know in the comments down below, do you want to see more of these type of series, maybe even more of this series specifically? As always, again, I thank you guys for watching. I do hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you all next time. Later.